Hey fam, it's me Aaron for Comic Show, Comic Buzz. This is the buzz. Look at these rings. It's like, Green Lantern, all 5 books are out now. I'm going to talk about them. We talked about Green Lantern 20. You guys know I love this book. It was the finale of Geoff Johns. He said it was the end. It's not really the end. There's these books, but I freaking loved it. And I know some of you I've heard saying that their whole life with Green Lantern was with Geoff Johns. They can't really separate Geoff Johns from Green Lantern, and they're not giving these new books a chance. Maybe they'll pick them up in the collection, maybe not. I love Green Lantern before Geoff Johns. I love Guy Gardner. He is the man. And I think that's why I love Geoff Johns so much, because of what he did for the Green Lantern mythos. But if Geoff Johns is worth a damn, and he's not just the Geoff Johns fan club for Geoff Johns and Geoff Johns, he made you love Green Lantern. He made you, his love for Green Lantern came across on that printed page and made you love Green Lantern. And you know you love Green Lantern because of him, and you know that there'll be a pull towards you to try these again. And I'm going to make it easy for you by telling you what's up with what books. And I did an interview with Rob Venditti. We'll have a link to that. And I also moderated the Green Lantern panel at HeroesCon with all these guys, and I'll put a link to that. It's actually the same link. And listen to that, it's fun, but I'm going to give you my opinion straight up. Okay, Green Lantern 21 with Rob Venditti. It's Venditti like P. Diddy. Wow, I dug it. It started in the middle of things. It started with, they're losing this battle with Relic. Who's Relic? That comes later in New Guardians. But then you have these new recruits because it was just decimated after what Geoff Johns did to the Corps. They're rebuilding it, and Hal's in charge. And I like the idea of Hal's in charge because Hal's always been this rebel on the outside, kind of railing against the Guardians and doing his own thing. He's very charismatic, but how does that translate towards being a leader? He's not a leader. He's a cocky outsider that pulls people away from the leader that made the wrong call and follows him. So let's see that role. That's cool. I'm reading in more to it than what we get in this issue. This issue was just 20 pages, and it set this up. He didn't embarrass himself. Cautiously optimistic is what I heard on the internet towards this. I liked it, and after talking to him about his plans for what's to come, I'm really excited about that. And this issue is worth it just for the Kyle Hal back and forth. It's funny. Their relationship dynamic is pretty funny. Van Jensen, this was the wild card. He was pulled from Pinocchio Vampire Slayer. He's a longtime friend of Venditti. He was put on this book at the 11th hour. He has a specific thing of John Stewart's not dying today after Bleeding Cool said he was dying in this book, and that's why Falkov walked off. John Stewart never had a chance to shine in Geoff Johns' run. John Stewart was loved in the cartoon show. I loved him in the cartoon show. He's so hard to root for in the comic because he doesn't root for himself. He's always so down on himself. Like, how do you really get excited about that? I get excited about Guy Gardner because he says he's the best. I'm like, well, you're the best. Okay, I want to be the best too. I'll hang out with you, and maybe it'll rub off, Guy Gardner. But this guy, the planet blew up. That was, the bomb was painted yellow back in Cosmic Odyssey. So he had penance for that. He had penance for Oa. He had penance for killing the other Green Lantern in cold blood. And it was just this long story of John Stewart with penance. Moving past that, and that's what Van Jensen's doing. He is having this midlife crisis type of thing of what's his legacy? What's he going to do? What's his role in the Corps? Is he going to take up Kilowog's spot as drill sergeant now that Kilowog took Salak's spot? And Salak, nothing is going to characterize John Stewart more as moving past that penance and regret and grief than have him counseling Salak and saying, yes, you made wrong calls. Yes, you made bad choices. Yes, a lot of Lanterns died because of your choices, but I'm here to tell you that's not the end of your story. That's not who you are. That's not who you will be. And hearing John saying these things to Salak, it's really going to make people rally behind John Stewart. I'm excited. I loved it in the cartoon. New Guardians, Kyle. You guys know how I feel about Kyle. I resented him back in the day when he replaced Hal and they took Guy Gardner's yellow ring away because only one ring can rule them all with Kyle, and that he was basically like Peter Parker. He was an artist in New York, and great power comes great responsibility, and his girlfriend died, just like Gwen Stacy. Yay. But there's been a lot of good stuff done with this character. I like his character. I like his dynamic with Guy Gardner a lot. And in this book, it's just so cool. The Smurfs on Safari. I just like Justin Jordan's just young, sarcastic tone, his vibe, his shirking responsibility, but still doing the responsible thing. I think he has Kyle's voice down, and I like that the book's finally called New Guardians for a reason. There's New Guardians, and Kyle's taking them around the universe, and that's where they're meeting up with Relic, and that's where the plot's going to turn. My favorite of all this is Red Lanterns. My favorite's Guy Gardner, so I promise you, and I told Charles Soule this before this came out, that I was going to be the harshest critic of his stuff if I don't feel that this is the Guy Gardner I know and love. I love Guy Gardner, the real Guy Gardner. I know he makes terrible choices. I know he's terribly flawed. I know he's terribly insecure. And I know he overcompensates for that in a lot of destructive ways. And I love it. And that's what we got in here. We had the character turning the plot, not the plot turning the character. We had, sure, they said he was going to be on a Red Lantern. He has to be in that book. And that was what Charles Soule was given as the assignment. But Charles Soule made it so that Guy Gardner's deep-seated insecurity, his rage, there's even a line that he says that his superpower was getting mad before he had superpowers. But his rage doesn't come from what he complains about. It doesn't come from what he's seen. It doesn't come from what he's experienced. It comes, and not being able to stop a lot of those bad things. It comes from who he is, his deep-seated insecurities of being not good enough. And I can relate to that. I always felt like I was not good enough. I always felt that I didn't have what it takes in life, and that's why I read comic books instead of did sports. I mean, yay, Guy Gardner. So I freaking love this issue. I love Guy Gardner. I love Charles Soule. Awesome. LARFLEEZE, going back to my love for the JLI and Guy Gardner, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, all that. It's Giffen DeMatteis writing this, and I swear they're channeling two characters from JLI. It's Elron, the little robot, and Manga Khan. And there's this whole like monologuing, and the guy just talking him up, and him monologuing, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I like these writers. I like just how disconnected LARFLEEZE is from reality. I enjoy that. Now, can it maintain a monthly series without Nort? No, it cannot. So, listen, Giffen, put Nort on here. And do you need to read this? No, you don't. But you get the orange ring if you get it. So, there's that. But I enjoyed it. If there's one book you're going to skip, or you could skip, I suggest LARFLEEZE because it's not part of the whole thing. But we're going to have a few more issues in the start. We're going to have 21, 22, 23, and then 23. The Villains Month in September is .1, .2, .3, which it will be Relic by Venditti. We'll have Mongol by Starlin. We'll have Black Hand by Charles Soule. And then, Matt Kent on, who is that? Oh yeah, Sinestro by Matt Kent. Yay. And then after that, October is Lights Out. It's the big first crossover. And no, it's not too soon to do a crossover. Why? Because these books are character-driven, not plot-driven. So it won't feel like they're all just running from plot to plot, like Third Army to Wrath of the First Lantern. These are character-driven books, and they're all connected in this universe, and it's all leading up to this very soon crescendo of Lights Out in October, and I'm excited for it. And you get all these rings. You have the green ring, the red ring, orange, indigo blue. You have yellow, black, sapphire, and white coming. Probably white's going to be New Guardians. And I'm really enjoying this. Give it a shot. Pick your favorite lantern. Pick your favorite writer. I suggest Guy Gardner, obviously, with Charles Soule and Red Lanterns, but the wild card is John Stewart, and not just the redemption of John Stewart, in the book, because he basically is redeemed. He's basically moved past that, but the redemption of him as a character, as a leading man, as the dude that carries a series, which, honestly, Geoff Johns' 9-year run didn't give him that. So, wild card right there. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.